I was early, I was right. They didn't listen, some even laughed. But the numbers never lie.
It all started with a dream, the American dream. It's early 2003, after the economy took a hit, the dot-com bubble burst, then a national tragedy. Interest rates dropped to 1%, the lowest since 1950s. Borrowing was free, almost too free. Lenders started handing out mortgages to everyone. No income? No problem, called subprime borrowers. They even call it ninja loan. The belief was simple, home prices always go up. So even if you couldn't repay, the house would be worth more later anyway. But actually, lenders didn't even care because they weren't keeping the loans. They sold them off to banks like Lehman Brothers, Bear Stearns, and Merrill Lynch. Those banks bundled all those risky loans into mortgage-backed securities, MBS, and got them labeled AAA by credit rating agencies like Moody's and S&P, making them look ultra-safe at least on paper. Wall Street saw and did what it always does when it smells profit. They sold these so-called safest bundles to investors worldwide. They even repackaged risky debt into more shiny products called CDOs, which looked like gold on paper, but inside, just more and more stones.
CDO of a CDO, right?
Nobody questioned it. People stopped looking inside and everyone was buying anyway.
Buy 20 million.
Oh, come on, live a little.
25 million.
Things were going smooth. Everyone was making money. People were getting rich. But one man looked deep inside and saw that the entire castle was built on sand. He wasn't famous, but he saw what no one else was looking at. He read what no one else read. And he did what no one wanted to do, and when he spoke, they laughed at him, but he didn't just walk away.
I want to buy swaps on mortgage bonds, credit default swap that will pay off if the underlying bond fails.
He placed a bet using something called a credit default swap, or CDS, against the mortgage market. It was like buying insurance on a house you didn't even own, because he knew it was going to collapse. Same as watching a time bomb ticking, betting it would explode, not because you wanted it to, but because you knew it would. His bet was a warning siren for Wall Street. He didn't start the fire, he just refused to get burned.
I read the prospectuses on these mortgage bonds. No one else was doing that. I could see the cracks forming. It was clear as day. Michael Burry.
People who took those loans started defaulting. One by one. Payments stopped. House prices began to fall, and then the news broke. Lehman Brothers, one of the biggest investment banks in the world, managing over $600 billion in assets, declared bankruptcy. Panic exploded across Wall Street. The unthinkable had happened. If Lehman could fall, who's next? Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch. The dominoes were shaking, and the shock didn't stop at the border. The wave crossed oceans. Banks in Iceland started failing. China's exports slowed down. Europe started struggling too. Global trade began to fall. In America alone, the dream turned into a nightmare. Millions lost their jobs. Millions were forced out of their homes. And the worst, some people lost everything, even the will to keep going. Washington was rushed into action. Secret calls, closed-door sessions, late-night meetings, and then a historic bailout package TARP, Troubled Asset Relief Program. Around $700 billion in emergency funds signed. Not for ordinary people, but for the giants of Wall Street to save the system. Technically not free money, but practically it was survival, paid by taxpayers.
The biggest welfare check in history had been paid to Wall Street.
Enough to save the ones they called too big to fail, and it worked. By 2013, the market was back on track. Wall Street was almost fully recovered. But what about Main Street, the millions who lost their jobs, their homes, and the ones who lost everything? They didn't get saved. They got little checks, a few loan tweaks, and a good luck. People who caused the crash walked away with cash. The ones who suffered were told to just move on, and just like that, the world moves on. So, did we actually fix the system? Can it never happen again? Who knows? But one thing's for sure, greed doesn't disappear. It just waits for its next disguise. When money feels free and easy, someone's paying the price. And if you don't know who he is, it's probably you.